Thanks, guys. Thanks, kids.
All right, so we transition into my favorite, Lerin, the Lion Latch Shark Tank product.
That's right.
Let's talk about your story, since we know it so well and love it. So talk about how you got started, right? I mean, we have a wonderful day today. It's like nonstop. It's a marathon every 30 minutes. We had Joy on, we had Marcy McKenna on. I mean, just a lot of heavyweights. You and Aaron on, Mike Watts. So talk about your story. How did you come up with this wonderful idea of the Lion Latch?
Well, I was teaching and coaching at the time. I was a high school art teacher and I was coaching softball, and I was newly engaged. And I knew that my athletes can't wear their jewelry while they're participating in sports because it's against the rules. But I thought I was an exception to that rule because I was the coach. And I caught a softball and it flattened my engagement ring into my finger and it knocked out a diamond and I couldn't find it. And I learned that lesson the hard way. Yes. We're out there looking in the grass, shaking my glove in the office, hoping the diamond would fall out. And someone may come across it one day out there on that field, but
oh, so you never found it on top of it? Oh,
no. It's out there somewhere on the left field line. So I guess finders keepers in that case, but
someone's gonna go, it's not a real diamond.
Right? Oh, what is it?
Yeah, who loses a diamond out in the field?
The high school sport.
Lerin did.
Exactly. I did. And I learned that lesson the hard way. And it really stunk. Like, my husband worked really hard to get that. Luckily, he still married me. He is my husband now. But he worked really hard to get that ring for me. And when I called him, he said, I'm going to be sick. I was like, I'm going to throw up. And I was like, no, it's fine. It wasn't like the biggest diamond, but it was definitely one that counted. And right. So I mean, I got my ring fixed, but it took forever. And luckily I had insurance, but that's something that I never wanted to feel again. I felt so awful. And it's something that was very sentimental, as is most jewelry. And I made the Lion Latch for myself because I needed something I could keep on my keys, but I couldn't find a container that I could keep on my keys that didn't come unscrewed. And so I designed the Lion Latch because I'm an art teacher and we problem solve constantly. And I'm lucky that I can draw a little bit, So I drew up this design and I 3D printed it for myself. But then other teachers and coaches and my student athletes especially wanted one. But I was, how many can I 3D print? And it was expensive at the time to use a 3D printer. And so I took to Kickstarter and I got my idea funded, and it's made here in the US, and I've sold several thousands of units since then. I've been on GMA, it's been on The View, and I made it to Shark Tank this past year. So one little problem solver has gone a long way.
Yeah, crazy. So let's talk about when you finally decide to have it made in the US. So we'll get to GMA and The View and Shark Tank near the end of this, but I want people to know and understand how important it is to pick the right partner.
Oh, absolutely.
Because they'll make you or break you. And you've had some bumps, and that's what everyone has to understand. It's not a smooth path. So we're trying to teach everyone the right path so you can eliminate some of those bumps. So talk about that a little bit.
When I started, I was just a teacher, an art teacher. And I had no idea about manufacturing, especially with plastic and injection molding. And
full disclosure, she didn't know me yet either.
I didn't know the king of manufacturing. I didn't. But luckily I do now. But at the time I didn't. And my manufacturers that I met with, my mold was made in China and then it came over here. So they were unable to really work on it themselves and fix it if it needed repairs. I didn't know what a gate was. And that's something that I wish they would have explained to me at the time, because again, I was new, or green, as you would say, to manufacturing. Mm-hmm. And there are a lot of little things that I wish I had learned, but instead,
and your product is cosmetic, right? It has to look good too, not just be, not solve a problem, but it has to look good on the outside.
Absolutely. And now even my daughter's toys, you know, she gets in a Happy Meal or something, I look for the gate, like
Yeah.
where is the gate on this? And that's what was hard with the Lion Latch at first, is they wanted the gate on the outside, and it just didn't look great, or it didn't look as
And
good
that's
as
for people who are even understanding what a ring gate is. It's where the plastic, after it's turns to molten, basically heated up, it flows to give you the shape of the product.
Yes. And then mine is kind of tricky because it's got a few holes in it. It's supposed to, because that's part of the design, you know, and that's something that I've learned along the way. Different types of plastics. I wish I would have had like a little course on that beforehand. But here we are. I've had 3 manufacturers on my moving towards my 4th one, and it's been a struggle. It's something that's very stressful, and I really do wish that someone had kind of helped me along the way, but I didn't know it was going to become this. And that's why I went to Shark Tank. I was hoping that I could get a shark on board and they could help me really quickly solve this problem so I can hit the ground running rather than kind of treading and searching for help. And luckily I found help, and we're going to get this taken care of. But the product looks great right now. We've made a few adjustments along the way as well. It's much different than the original one. And that's kind of with product design, right? You get the first one, you try it out, you get some reviews, or people communicate with you, give you some feedback on your product, and then you make an adjustment. And
I mean, you're right. It's important that people understand that you have to make products. Some people think you just go from concept to production. You have to make sure that it meets what the customer wants. It looks good cosmetically. Any issues, design related, you can make adjustments. Even talk about your patent, right? You had somebody infringing. We talk about like Chris Landano and Inventor Rescue as being part of that to help with attorneys. I mean, there's no limits to what people will do. They like your idea. Oh, let me steal it. What happened to that person, right? Talk about that a little bit. How you went and got your patent and made it better and kind of pushed them off in the corner.
Right. Inventor Rescue really helped me out by finding me a wonderful patent attorney that loved my product, wanted to help me like get it done, not pushing it off to the side, you know, not forgetting about it, like making sure I was going to get my patent. And what happened is my previous patent attorney, twice, I had one disappear, like leave the country. I had another one, she kept blaming COVID. And then on those 2 occasions, my patent was abandoned. And so someone else tried to recreate the Lion Latch and get a patent. Yes, exactly.
They all watch. I love it. They wait till you do all the work, until you do all of get all the sales and do the heavy lifting, and they come in and try to steal it.
It's right. It's awful. And it stinks that people are out there like that, and also that they can do that so easily. And but Inventor Rescue really helped me out. They got me a patent attorney that cared, and he got my patent reinstated, and then he got it issued within a few months, which is something I've been trying to do for years. So thank you, Inventor Rescue and Chris. It was awesome.
Yeah,
I mean,
no,
I'm so thankful. And then look, my patent's right here.
Yeah,
look at that.
Awesome.
Woo-hoo. Right? Woo!
Yeah. I mean, these stories are just, for me, are great. Like I didn't know Lerin. I don't know, a year ago, I didn't know Lerin. I posted something, again, social media and networking is so big. I don't know if you commented on something I posted or vice versa. We talked, and next thing you know, like, we're helping each other. And that's what it's so important. And the network of people that each one of us are connected to make a big, big difference. Speaking of Inventor Rescue, there is Mr. Fireman himself.
Hey, Lerin, thanks. So we're so happy we were able to help you. And yeah, Joe is awesome. He was, I'm so glad he was able to help you out. You were actually one of our first rescues.
Awesome. I feel lucky to get in there.
But think about how important it is, though, right? I mean, and that was quick, right? We all got on a call together, got Joe involved, and I mean, over a weekend, I think it was like quick. And that's what I think, we bring so much talent and so much education to the inventor community that we can react pretty quick. I mean, just the fact that we have this amazing event, like Carmine had an idea, we put it in works, and a week later, everyone's on. People like Lerin, and Lerin took this now. I want to keep going on this because, she not only ran into bumps. We talked about this earlier in the shows with Marcy. She didn't stop. The bumps did not stop her. Maybe a little bit of discouragement, right? But then you say, I have no choice to make this work. She kept going. She got it on Good Morning America. I'll let you talk about that. She got it on The View, and then we'll save the best for last. She got it on Shark Tank, season 13.
Right. When I was on Shark Tank, Barbara actually told me that I was a dog with a bone over here, and they admired my tenacity.
Yeah.
And endurance on this. I don't know better. I set goals and I just go after them. I'm very fortunate that this was a good goal and that I've found good people along the way that can help me reach it. And the main goal here is for me to be able to have a product that supports my income enough to where I can stay home with my kids and raise my own kids. Right.
It's the right network, the right people. And and again, you saw what it was like with the wrong people. And now you're seeing what it's like with the right people. I mean, you can call me on Sunday, right? I mean, and I think that's, and vice versa. That's what good relationships do. And that's how you help each other out. So talk about Good Morning America. How was that? And first, before you get into that, talk about how you weren't sure if you can supply the number of pieces they wanted. So you said, let me get back to you and then take it from there, because you'll never say that again.
Right. This was in the beginning when I first started doing shows. Like I started doing markets and I got a call. This is Good Morning America. We'd love to have your product on the show. We think it's unique. How many units can you have? And I'm just like, oh my God, how many do you need? And they were like, well, around 20,000. And I was just like, ah. And so I was like, let me call you right back, please. And I called my manufacturer and they were like, yeah, we can get that done for you. If we start now. I was like, okay, great. I called them back and they already filled the spot. And I was like, no. So, and I was like, oh, I should have agreed to it. And people say you should just say yes. But I don't want to be the person that says yes and then I can't come through with it. Like that would kill me. But
my point with that is how fast it moves. They're filling slots and they're like, you're just a list. You happen to be on that list or going to the next person.
And that was the Women's History Month, and they were going to have me on for that segment. So I was going to get to fly out, but I missed that plane, and they put me on The View instead for View Your Deal, and I still did really well. And so the next year at the same time, I reached out, and they had me come out and present for the following year for the Women's History Month, and I got to present in person. Yeah. And it actually worked out even better because everyone got to present their product, whereas the year before, some just got to wave with it. And I actually got to demonstrate the Lion Latch. And it's a very demonstrable product because it's unique. It's not a screw top lid. People think it's like a pill container, and it's not. Like the lid just pulls off and then your rings go inside. But once the lid is on, then it's got this carabiner that locks it shut. And so once the carabiner's on, now you can't just pull the lid off. And then you can attach it to your keys or your water bottle. And that's something I needed to demonstrate to people, why it's unique, why it's got a patent, and why they need it, and why they need more than one even. So I was very fortunate that Tori Johnson had me on for Deals and Steals on GMA. And it was an incredible experience. I was so lucky.
And it's an immediate 3-4 million people watching. And then they replay it throughout the day. So you get double time for the West Coast, and I'm sure your sales went off the chart.
Oh yeah, I sold out of my initial inventory within the first day, and I went to back order. And then I had the foot nanny. I don't know if y'all know her, but she is friends with Oprah, and she called me personally. We were on the show together that day. Her name's Gloria, and she was like, "Congratulations, like you're already on back order." I was like, "What?" Like, oh my God! But then I had to hurry home and start packing those orders. So
right. And this thing comes in all different colors, right? And you can also do private labeling on it. So talk about that a little bit.
I can. I made the Lion Latch just for jewelry. That was my plan because it was for my ring, but it turns out it can hold any tiny valuables, pills, inner ear hearing aids, lost teeth for your littles. You don't want to lose it for the tooth fairy gets there. And I have a lot of companies reaching out to me, and I didn't plan on it, but you can screen print your logo on the top. And now it's a promotional product that actually leaves the house. People want to know what it is. It gets used daily. It's not like a coffee mug that it gets pushed to the back of the cabinet, or a blanket that is eventually given to your dog or something. Like it's actually used, right? And people appreciate it. So now I'm doing a lot for jewelry stores. Jewelers Mutual Insurance is one of my partners. They get their logo screen printed on the lids. And I mean, again, this is stuff that I never thought I would be doing with the Lion Latch, but when people
and it's
reach out to
evolving,
me,
right? We're talking about now making it waterproof. We're talking about putting sparkles in the plastic, a glow in the dark.
yes.
I hope I'm not going to create any problems for you. Having to broaden your market now overnight, but
Hey,
it's true.
Hey, Lerin,
Yes, sir.
and Chris, as you guys know, a product that has multiple uses will expand on its own, and that's what you want. It is, and a lot of you inventors out there that create a product, you don't need to think about other markets. A good product will expand on its own. So what Lerin did, which is awesome, you laser focused on a certain market, and then obviously took off on its own. And you want it to be a living thing. So it's awesome that that's happening. It shows that it's a good product.
Thank you.
And Lauren's been able to, to kind of retire from teaching. She opened up an art studio, and she had another little baby. So this is like, it's now turned into a full-time business that she can also run while taking care of her family. That's every woman's dream, really. Think about it.
It is. That was the goal. And I'm here. I mean, and then I was on Shark Tank last year, and that really helped seal the deal for me. Is like,
so let's talk about that now. Let's talk about Shark Tank.
Ooh,
right. Let's talk about how, I mean, you might have had an easier time than most people, but let's talk about how fast it moved and how much you had to do to make it happen so you can get on the show.
I had to audition 3 times to get on the show. And I have some friends that auditioned 7. Like,
yeah, I've had people waiting in lines for 2 days. I mean, I don't want to say that I did it on the first try, but I did.
Yeah,
okay. Although Aaron did
he
too.
say that?
He did too.
Yeah.
But I had to do it in COVID, right? And I had to stay in a room for 10 days. That was like torture. It really was like torture. I could have never done
that. I'm so thankful that I got to go last year. But there was a lot of stress because you have to pass all these COVID tests before you leave, when you arrive, and then the morning of. So I was like freaking out about the COVID test, but I got to pitch, and I flew in on Sunday night and I pitched on Monday morning, and you get to see your setup. I actually had 2 people helping me, and I'd never actually met them in person. They're actually members of the crew there. And so we got to practice 2 times, and then it was my turn to pitch. And it's crazy how fast it goes. I can see why it would be, you'd be nervous. Sometimes you watch the show and you see people forget what they're supposed to be saying. People don't realize that this is like months of practicing it. You have to know all your numbers, answers. You have to have the right answer. You have to remember the right answer when you're in there. And it was crazy, but I loved every minute of it. I wasn't nervous because I'm used to being in front of a lot of people.
But all the sharks are asking a number of questions all at the same time.
It is. And they're yelling at you. And this time I was really far from them because of COVID. So they're like really getting excited and talking over each other. And it's up to you to hear the questions, pick the question you want to answer, and then have the right answer. Because sometimes I would say something and I'd be like, what? And please don't air that. Like, let me fix that. But sometimes the players like to have a good with you, and they will the wrong answer or cut something out. So you don't know after you've done all of this, you don't know how you're going to be portrayed. You pray it's in a good light.
Or if you're even gonna show, right? You don't even know if you're going to be on.
And in your case, you didn't know until May.
Yeah, I mean, we
filmed in
September.
July. I'm sure you did too. Okay, see, and then you had to wait a whole year.
We started in April, and everything was Zoom at the time, and then we truly didn't film until the end of September. We were in the second group, so I didn't find out until beginning of May.
Oh gosh, well, I was fast tracked, as they say, whereas people had several months to prepare. And I had 6 weeks to prepare. And that was everything. My numbers, I had to be on the phone with my accountant constantly, covering all my bases, then learning those numbers.
Preparation is big.
Yep. I had to send them pictures of my layout for my design. Had to ship it to them, communicate that, pick an outfit, have the outfit approved, practice on Zoom. my pitch with them. And it was intense. It's a lot of stuff. And those packets that they send you is like 40 pages at a time.
Yeah.
And luckily it's online now, so you can type it in. And this is for anybody that's applying. I'm just going to put this out there. As you're typing in your responses, copy and paste that on a Word document in case you lose it, or you get disconnected, or you have to refresh it, because it stinks having to start that over.
Yeah,
and I got that's
Shark
a teacher.
Tank and the Sharks have gotten a lot smarter 13 years into it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I was talking to Tiffany. She had Ava the Elephant. She's on season 1. And she said that they were just checking her patent as she was showing up to.
Yeah. Now, everyone in the early stages, it tells me the same thing. I mean, Damon even told me how these guys are giving out hundreds of thousands of dollars of cash as part of the deal. People were buying cars and paying off bills. And obviously now I went through something like the FBI would probably put me through. The same as you, background checks, all of that, all of the history, that Shark Tank. Then afterwards, the Sharks put you through that same background check as well. So it's very different now.
Hey,
it's harder now.
Hey, Chris and Lerin, we're getting some questions on here, because I think what's great is you guys are Shark Tank alone. We're going to have some other Shark Tank people on. And so this is the great section. So some of the questions are, when should an inventor start applying for Shark Tank? Like, they hear all these things that, they have a prototype, they have, when's the best time to start doing it?
You need sales. That would be my take. I had little sales because of COVID, and I worked my way through it. Having 2 weeks to get it into Walmart, but even then the sales had gone straight down because of COVID. So I had to work through all that process. But I would say now you need a finished product with sales.
I agree with that completely. My first audition, I had 80,000 in sales. And then my third audition, I had over $500,000 in sales. So they asked me that when I was in the tank, and I do think that sales really helped it. I mean, there are some people that get on there with just an idea and a prototype. And I mean, that does happen, but I really do think that the sales helped me capture their attention, especially with such a small product.
And I also think that being 13 years now, they're going in season 14, that these guys have a lot of investments they made on past products. So now they're being extremely selective. So they want to make sure that the patents are done, and you do have working products, and you do have sales. And what are you asking for an investment? Because again, they can be really selective now on what they choose, as opposed to the early days.
Does it seem like they do that even and again, I haven't been on, but you see a lot of deals being made. Does it seem like those deals are, the majority of them follow through, or after those questions and they really dig into the ideas and the numbers, do some of those deals?
I want to say the percentage is, I think, greater than 80% don't ever happen.
Yeah, absolutely. I have a lot of friends though that said that, their product looking like they got a deal on Shark Tank and then it not following through.
Right.
And, behind the scenes, it still worked out for them anyway.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Or the deals change. Everyone thinks as soon as you do a deal, they're cutting you a check for $300,000. No, it doesn't work like that. Without going through all of the due diligence, all of the sales, all of the patent information, all of your personal background, criminal checks, and just your history of what you say you are, what the product is, where you're selling, and all. I mean, they go through all of that. And I guess I would too. If I'm going to give somebody $300,000, I want to make sure I'm investing with the right person. So
on the show, it could look like you're giving equity, and then behind the scenes, they're just going to give you a loan to see how it goes. If they actually want a piece of the pie or not. So I mean,
and I think it's changed a lot from the early seasons to now, especially knowing that that they're smarter about their due diligence and who they partner with. So I always feel like now that I do have a deal, I am partnered with Damon, that the trust level is very high. The relationship is extremely well. I mean, he talks about himself being the people's shark 100%. I mean, the guy is amazing.
I was bummed he wasn't on my episode.
Yeah, he's just a good dude. I'm telling you, all the way around. Just a great individual. I mean, even when my father just passed away, just nothing more than just to tell me, ask me how I was doing. If I needed anything, just a phone call away. That's the kind of person Damon is. So we're very appreciative to have him on our side.
Awesome. So Lerin, what's next for the Lion Latch? What's happening?
Oh man, we're trying to make just a few more adjustments. Got some plans for big boxes. I'm still doing promo orders right now. I'm doing more promo orders for jewelry
Looking
stores.
at a new tool.
Yep, getting a new tool done so I can make more faster, more efficiently. That was the thing. Every time I was ordering in bulk, thousands and thousands of units, these manufacturers couldn't keep up. And then I was having to do that second round of quality control. And it really stinks to have to do that because you're paying them to do that for you.
Yeah.
And you're trying to run your business, but here you are having to take breaks and do QC. So I'm getting a new tool. We're getting more cavities so I can make more and bringing out more colors. That glow in the dark, I get an email every day asking me when I'm getting glow in the dark back in.
Wow.
Right. That's awesome. The plan. Also, I'm going to have some white ones so I can make soccer balls and volleyballs and baseballs. And cause I'm already got basketballs and softballs cause I have those colors. So I'm just waiting on white to get here so I can make the other ones. Cause
I would say, Carmine, that Lerin is a really good example of early stages, some bumps, kept moving, but she now realizes finding the right people, the right network, and she has that now, would get her into the market faster and save her thousands of dollars. And so now she's become extremely smart about how to do a business and how to do manufacturing in the US. And, and then look at, she's now growing on a big platform. She's got a great product. It's smart. It's small. It's easy to handle. It's easy to ship. I mean, so she's living the American dream.
I am. I was thinking that this morning. I was smiling while I was making my bed and picking up my baby and feeding him during the day. Like this was my end goal, is being able to stay home and raise my kids. And I'm fortunate that I have a good product and that I've seen it through, and my Lion Latch supporters have helped me get to this point, because I really am living the American dream. I'm getting to take care of my kids and help other people at the same time. Yeah. And I'll be pursuing my art school here pretty soon. Wow. And I mean, today's a great Friday. It's been a good day.
That's awesome. And for me, I didn't know Lerin a year ago. Now we're good friends.
Yeah.
That's
what
great.
I love about it too, Lerin, is you are a perfect example to show our inventors out there. We want you to be successful, but the work doesn't end when you get that first order, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
You got to be.
That's when the fun starts.
Yeah.
When they say it's like a roller coaster ride, being an entrepreneur, I mean, that is so factual, because again,
I can tell when she calls me and says, Chris, I'm like, okay, Lerin, what's going on?
Help. Or like I text him, I'm like, do you have a few minutes? Knowing it's going to be at least 10. I'm like, do you have
I save an hour usually.
Yeah, there we go. Well, it's only because you talk so much. Okay. Don't put that on me.
I never. Me?
No, stop that. Are you kidding?
No, I enjoy talking to you. How's that?
Hey, I know that what I'm in for. I'm okay with that. I'll take it.
Yeah. What's great, Lerin, is, having the UIA and having the backing and the people that we know, the people that we are associated with, being able to reach out and getting true information very quickly and being able to connect you with stuff. I mean, that's very, very beneficial when you're in a rush or you have an order. And like you said, sometimes you're hesitant to take on that or say yes, but now you can, because you have the people connected already.
Absolutely. And it feels so much better than being uncertain all the time. The uncertainty.
All right, Lerin, what's one last thing you want to leave the audience with today? Oh,
if you have an idea, get it off of the drawing board, because that's the one thing that spoke to me. And I was at my husband's college graduation 6 years after he was supposed to graduate. And and I heard the first female chief of the U.S. Air Force. She was the speaker that day. And she said, the best ideas never leave the drawing board. And I mean, that was what it took to speak to me. And so I hit the ground running. I haven't stopped.
So amazing. Well, we congratulate you.
Thank you. Thank y'all for your help too.
Lerin, thanks for coming on. I appreciate you, man.
I appreciate y'all.
Really enjoy watching you grow in the entire market and watch your product get taken off and being on Shark Tank and now becoming something that everyone else can aspire to be.
Awesome. Wow. Thank y'all so much. I'm going to go feed my kiddos lunch now. Okay.
All right.
All right. Bye, y'all.
All right. Have a good day. We're going to transition.